Well, greetings, family night. This is Chaplain Thompson as we gather together and we think through a topic here coming from the book of Acts, and we ask, how does the book of Acts apply to our lives today? How does the early church apply to our lives today? And today we're going to think about Pentecost, the beginning of the church, Acts chapter 2, verses 1 through 4. When the day of Pentecost had come, they were gathered together in one place, and suddenly there came a heavenly noise, rushing wind filled the house. There appeared to them tongues of fire, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit. So Pentecost is significant both in the Old Testament and the New Testament. In the Old Testament, it's known as the Feast of Weeks. The Feast of Weeks, it's the end of the grain harvest. And Pentecost signals the beginning of the church age, of the creation of God's new covenant people. So we're thinking about the day of Pentecost, and we think about the Holy Spirit. We think about the fruit of the Spirit, or to be filled with the Spirit. So how does the day of Pentecost apply to us today? When we think about the fruit of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit empowers us to live righteously, supernaturally, and with a missions mindset. So righteously, supernaturally, and even with a missions mindset. And the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So how does that apply to us today? The fruit of the Spirit, to be filled with the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, as it says, to be filled with the Holy Spirit. So we want to be a joyful people. We want to be a joyful people. We want to be a peaceful people. Are we at peace? Are we at peace with God and at peace with one another? We want to be a patient people. Are we patient with our spouse? Are we patient with our kids? We want to be kind. Are we kind? Do we do kind things the way we react and respond? Do we do good things to one another as we think about being filled with the Spirit? Are we gentle? Are our words gentle? Are our words kind? We want to be self-controlled. Do we filter what we say? Are our emotions self-controlled? Do we practice self-control? So when we think about the day of Pentecost and how that applies to us being filled with the Spirit, that's part of it. That's part of it for sure. To be filled with the Spirit, to have the fruit of the Spirit, to be filled with the Spirit, and we want to live our lives accordingly in a way that honors God and pleases God, to walk in the Spirit. We do not want to fulfill the deeds of the flesh and the sinful thoughts and desires, but no, we want to walk in the Spirit. So when we think about the day of Pentecost in Acts chapter 2, that's some of the ways that this may apply to us. We're talking about baptism in the Spirit. We're united with Christ. We're united with other believers, and we are. But I want to think about the fruit of the Spirit, which is that love and joy and peace and patience and kindness and gentleness and self-control, and how that applies to us, and to live that out with the people closest to us. So thank you for joining us. Our little thought for today, the devotion for today, how Pentecost applies to us even today. Well, take care and God bless.